In a recent interview on the BBC, Nigel Farage, leader of the Reform UK party, stirred controversy by suggesting that Russia's attack on Ukraine was provoked by the expansionist policies of NATO and the European Union. Farage, a prominent advocate for Brexit and a critic of the EU, argued that the continuous eastward enlargement of these alliances provided Russian President Vladimir Putin with a pretext to escalate tensions.
I stood up in the European Parliament in 2014 and I said, and I quote, "There will be a war in Ukraine." Why did I say that? It was obvious to me that the ever eastward expansion of NATO and the European Union was giving this man a reason to his Russian people to say they're coming for us again and to go to war.
Farage, who played a pivotal role in the Brexit movement, also criticised the ruling Conservative Party for failing to meet their promises regarding Brexit outcomes, such as reducing immigration and simplifying regulations. The timing of Farage's comments comes as the UK gears up for its upcoming general election, where Reform UK is expected to compete closely with the Conservative Party for votes, according to recent polling data. Meanwhile, the Conservative Party's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's stand on Ukraine is globally transparent, as he has even promised to raise defence spending to support Ukraine against Russia.
Well, I can only assure President Zelenskyy about what I would do if I was Prime Minister, but I am able to give him that reassurance that our support for Ukraine will continue not just today, but for as long as it takes. But I can make that commitment to him because I've made the decision to increase defence spending. So under a Conservative government, defence spending will continue to rise to 2.5% of GDP, and that's why I can say to Vladimir, we will be here with you, providing the same level of support for as long as it takes. Because I recognise the world we're living in is more dangerous and challenging than it has been at any point in our past, and that requires us to spend more, to invest more in our security, and ultimately Ukraine are fighting for all our freedom.
There is a clear difference in the ideologies of the Conservatives and the Reformists. The election season in the UK is almost near, and the parties are putting out their clear stance on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, among many issues concerning the public. However, this is not limited to just the UK. Many countries of the West are undergoing the same in fighting on Ukraine's stance. In France, the far-right leader, angling to become Prime Minister after France's upcoming parliamentary election, accused French President Emmanuel Macron of crossing the limit by sending troops to Ukraine. He said, under his leadership, France will not be drawn directly into a conflict with a nuclear power.
There are red lines that the President of the Republic has crossed, and which I will not cross tomorrow as Prime Minister of a cohabitation. I am opposed, unlike the President of the Republic, to sending troops and sending French soldiers to Ukraine, because I believe that, first of all, a majority of French people are opposed to this decision. Ukraine itself and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy hasn't called for the sending of French troops to Ukraine, and that could have dramatic consequences for peace, world peace. I refuse for France to be drawn directly into a conflict with a nuclear power, which could have dramatic consequences for world peace and the stability of the region.
Macron has been saying that France will send military trainers to Ukraine. He has also said that the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine cannot be ruled out. Recently, Macron has been among the most vocal national leaders against Russia in its conflict against Ukraine. The case of the US presidency is also widely known as Biden being a staunch supporter of Zelenskyy, whereas the Republican face Donald Trump is the anti of all what current president has put into helping Ukraine. The anti-Ukrainian voices, especially of those belonging to potential national leaders, could mean that trouble for Zelenskyy could be exponential if any of Ukraine's allies see a change of guards.